Myself, I'm Terry Downs. I'm the interim director of the Carl Jerup Art Gallery. And this is Noelle Stillman. She's the graduate assistant for the Carl Jerup Art Gallery. And we were instrumental in putting together this cooperative exhibit done with the assistance of Paulette Brace over there. Paulette is Paulette.
Queen Wave.
Queen Wave. And stars shine on Annette Mitchell, artist extraordinaire. Annette Mitchell, area artist and famous regional artist as well. This is a special exhibit, and it was not planned. It happened spontaneously to a certain extent, which in the planning of the 250th anniversary of the town of Plymouth, the committee inquired about having an exhibit of area artists, and it took time to figure out a venue. The venue request came to me, and I said, well, certainly. And here we are. And I think this is a great opportunity for the university to demonstrate how it's integrated with the local community, and the state, and the region in a way like this, because all of these artists are within the vicinity of the town of Plymouth and the university, Plymouth State University. And many of them were former students. So there's a lot of connections, and there's a lot of creativity. And this gallery, the Carl Jerup Art Gallery, tooting my own horn, is, in my view, the best venue around for demonstrating the art of the area and the state. So I'm very enthusiastic to have this opportunity to show this body of work.
Well, I believe that we have a collection of over 20 artists that came together to put this show on. They're ranging from works created over the past couple months to works going back to the 1960s, and a variety of different medias and techniques used. And so I think it really has a good display of the talent that our area showcases.
This photograph is a panoramic photograph done with a layered effect, so that not only is there this tunnel vision that's optical, there's this tunnel vision that's physical, and it's a great object, sculptural object. This thing that's here on the wall by Jong-Yoon Kim, who I feel is a genius artist. He works here in the Plymouth State University Art Department, so that's a great piece. I'd also like to point out this piece down here. This is by Jim Fortune, who's an area artist, lives in Holderness. And this is a wood engraving he did back in 1965, and under the tutelage of Carl Jerup, whom the gallery is named. This piece over here is Annette Mitchell, and that's a print done in her well-known block printing approach, and you can see the kind of versatility that it has. That's the Senior Center. Let's see some other pieces along here. This one. This one is by one of our graduates back from '82. This is Robin Keith Adams, and this is also a foam print, and it's got a nice design touch with these two birch trees sort of extending out over what is the traditional picture plane, so kind of play on ideas about what is space and how things work. This is a rather nice piece. It's the only 3D piece in the show, unfortunately. This is by Tamra Mann. She's a recent graduate, recent assistant of the gallery, and she has the community clay center out in West Plymouth. This is a nice kind of funky painting, if I can use that word. It's probably not in vogue any longer, but it's kind of like reminds me of Philip Guston's figures that he worked into. This is, I guess these are trees. This is Marcia Santori. She's going to be curating and showing in Silver Hall in the winter. Well, I'll pass. There's one of his that I'm enthusiastic about. Right. This one here. Yeah, Fred Nold. I think this is a wild painting, and it's well done. I like the intense color with these man-made objects. I think they're really quite effective. This painting over here, I wanted to draw your attention to, which I think is a rather remarkable painting. I like the triptych aspect of it. I like the kind of funky, kitschy kind of wooden frame, homemade frame. It's really pretty intense. And it's a well-painted piece, and the composition is quite dynamic, and it's done with latex house paint. It's not done with what you would think is expensive artistic paint. And one of the things I like about that is that it demonstrates that you don't need special materials to be creative and artistic. You can do it with anything that you have available to you. Today's world, we can make art out of anything. It's a nice watercolor by Vivian Fanton. I think she has an honesty with her work that I've always admired, and she's gotten better. And this is a pretty nice piece. Cam Sinclair, he's an area artist, and he lives here in Plymouth, and he's well known for his landscapes and those kinds of paintings. I love these kind of winter scenes. Winter paintings are hard to do. You see a lot of summer paintings because it's comfortable to get outside and paint. Winter's a little bit harder. This is a piece by Ellie Lonsky. She lives in Hebron, but she did this sort of photo essay on Plymouth. So you've got here 7 times 35 blocks that she's used to coordinate certain images of the town of Plymouth, and she's given this kind of title, and she's put it into a poster. And it's kind of interesting to have that. Nice to have those kinds of statements about pride in the area and so forth. A lot of people like this because of the kind of transparent sensation. It's almost like this is a ghost of the past coming into the present, which is what the senior center is now. So it's kind of sophisticated in many respects. Mimsy Uller is the artist here. This is a watercolor by Mary Ellen Sakura, and it's got a beautiful sense of coolness and wetness with it. I mean, it just exudes the color of the water up in here. It's not abstracted in any sense. It's really responsive and genuine. So this is a nice watercolor. I like that. Larry Cohen. This is an old landscape painting of his that he did a long time ago. It's got that sense of a blizzard, which is what I was saying earlier about winter paintings. It's hard to do. You don't see too many of them. This drawing is a beautiful handling of charcoal. A lot of people are frightened of charcoal because it's messy and it's got a softness to it when it gets on there. Well, you can see when you look at something like this that messiness and softness is the virtue of it. And this young lady, Kathy Smith, can handle it as good as anybody. And she teaches here in the art department. And she's a good friend and a great artist, and I wish the best for her. This is Shopping for Art at Artistic Roots. And she's made a whole series of these kinds of works on paper with ink and watercolor. And she has a kind of spontaneous, casual response to it that gives a sense of life and movement to her work. And it'd be nice to have a show of hers somewhere around here before too long. I've only been curator of the gallery here for 2 years. Prior to that, the last time I was in charge of the gallery was in the 70s when the art department gallery was located in Lamson Library. And it's gone through several metamorphoses and different stages of development since then. But we came into this building back in like 92, 93 with the art department, and the gallery was moved into here. And when the Museum of the White Mountains opened up, our gallery director moved on to head that up, and so I took this over as I neared the end of my career to lend my expertise to it. So I've made a number of changes that are rather dramatic to the space and some additions that I think are very effective. So I've been doing this for 2 years. We have a new gallery director coming in, Cynthia Robinson, and she will be starting in late August. We have a special exhibit coming up, which I encourage everybody to make a note of in their calendar. From October 1st to November 9th, we're going to have the paintings of a Chinese painting master, Yang Jikui, and his work is already here in town, and we're waiting for the time to come to have his exhibit. And in conjunction with that exhibit, and this is something I think will be of special interest, we're going to have a series of scholars, experts on China, talking about various aspects of the Chinese cultural experience and how it impacts the United States, and not just history, but contemporary. And so it'll be quite fascinating. We've got 8 people lined up to talk, and it'll be a lecture series which we'll have in here. It's in the late afternoon. So I encourage people to come to that. It's the exhibit and the lecture series both. And we have student shows at the end of the year, faculty show at the beginning. This year we have a faculty member demonstrating the work produced during a sabbatical leave project, which is always fascinating for people to see what an academic artist can produce given the time to focus and concentrate on it. So the whole gallery will be turned over to him for the month of February for a special show. It's Tom Driscoll. So there's a lot going on, and the gallery is very dynamic. We've changed our focus to concentrate on area artists and area art groups. So we've had the New Hampshire Art Association showing for the 2nd year in a row. They're in Silver Hall right now. We've worked with Women's Caucus for the Arts. We had a very powerful regional show, juried show, this past year. And a number of groups like that. There's a printmakers coalition headed up by Parker Potter that'll be showing next year. We've worked with the New Hampshire Art Educators Association, and we've been in discussion with other groups around the area. So we're very integrated with community arts organizations, artists in the state. And if you look around and are aware of it, you discover that the hills are alive with the sounds of paintbrushes all over the place, and chisels and whatnot. And so one of our goals is to show how alive and creative the New Hampshire community really is. And Plymouth is, in my mind, the best place to do that. And that's been my effort these past 2 years. So I feel we're at a good place, and it will do a lot for the university and the town and the state and the mission of the university as well. So reach out to everybody. And this exhibit, bring this around full circle, is an example of this kind of integrated community kind of involvement where we cooperate with each other. There's going to be a big crowd here today. It's going to be great. So everybody come see the show.